Welcome back. Today we'll be talking about subclasses and inheritance. Inheritance is like a parent-child relationship between classes. So there can be some classes that can be parent, and then there are some other classes that can be child. So what basically inheritance means is that a child class can possess all the properties that a parent class have. So and it can definitely have some extra properties along, but by default a child class contains everything that our parent class have. So we'll be looking into some examples and try to explore those examples as we move. Okay, so as I mentioned in the previous video as well, that if you want to create any to extend Aquarium, like create child classes for a specific, you need to open that class first. And once you open that class, the next thing is to um, create other classes out of that. So how can we create a subclass? That's also we actually saw in one of our previous video, but I'll just repeat it. Let's say we have a tower tank now, and this is a class, and you see we have a constructor, and for the constructor we don't have anything in the constructor, so we'll just keep it the way it is. And now we'll extend it from the aquarium. And aquarium, now we have this tower tank ready. Now I want some properties to be in the top of this class. So basically what I want is like some properties different than what we have in our tower tank aquarium. So what I need is I need a very specific value height. I actually need a height and diameter since it's a tower. So we'll be using two different properties. One is the diameter and the other one is the height. Now what we are going to do is we are using a height variable, override var HIGHT height, and make it an integer. Now you can see that it actually throws an error, and it's not letting me create the variable. So what we are supposed to do with that? Again, you see, this is aquarium, and I also mentioned that if you want to to basically extend something, you need to open that one. So over here what I'm going to do is I'm also opening this variable as well. Now once I do that, it will let me, sorry, not this one, I want to open the height variable only. Okay, so once I do that, I got the height out of it, and the next thing will be to use the diameter, which is a new parameter for us. So this is goes to int. Now I also have a constructor with all these properties, which actually, for width we have diameter, for length and we'll be using diameter, and for height we'll be using height. So it means that this property is being used over here. Now I created this aquarium class. There are some properties that we want to create inside aquarium, so that we get the different shape and different kind of stuff. So for that, what we can do is we can create a open valve shape, which is a rectangle. Right now let's say we have a rectangle. Now we got this thing, but for tower tank, you know that we need to override it. So basically we'll be overriding the shape, and the shape over here should be it should not be using a getter. You can just assign it a cylinder. So this is what we have right now. Now you can see that we also have a volume over here which is being overridden, and the volume for a cylinder is formula for that is different. So we can also open that variable, and this calculation is for a rectangle, and for a cylinder we can also override the volume, and the volume can be so basically the overridden volume will be different, which is, I guess, if I'm not wrong, width divided by 2 into length divided by 2 into height divided by 1000 into pi dot 2 in. So basically it's a pi r square. Now, okay, so this is what we have for setting the value, and now as we set the value of the volume, we are actually updating the height, and it should be value into 1000 divided by pi. It's just reversing the formula that we have, into the width divided by 2 into length divided by 2 dot 2 int. So that's what we have. Now there is one more property that we want inside an aquarium, and that is the water. So a water is basically, for a normal rectangle variable, should be different than the what we have. So basically what we are going to do is, it should be a double and the value should be 0.0 for now. So, and then if we are getting something, the volume, the getter should get volume into 0.9. This is the property that we have. Now for this, it means that we are actually having a 90% of water. For a cylinder we might be using a different water. So let's say we have which means the water is actually getting volume into 0.8. So a different concept for this. Now the variable, so basically our basically tower tank is ready, and the class is being extended completely from the parent. You can see that the shape isn't coming from the parent, it's being overridden. The volume is also coming from the parent, and the water is also coming from the parent. So each and everything is coming from there. Now let's just get back to the main class, and where basically we are actually creating the aquarium. Let's just create another, get rid of these two. Now we will be using wall my tower, which is equals to tower tank, and we'll be using diameter as 25 plus height as 40. So we got this thing, and now we'll be using my tower dot print size. But before doing that, we'll make some changes over here. So we'll be using shape, and then that can be shape variable for this. And then this water level, also we need to add the water level as well. So basically the water level, shade, width, length and height. So these are the properties that we are actually trying to fetch out of it. Or one more thing is that we can also use volume as well. So we'll be using volume as volume. Okay, we're good now. I'll be adding some spaces so that it doesn't concat with the next element. Okay, now let's just try to execute it. We have two different one, we got this water as 81, and then this water is 14%. Then we have shape, which is rectangle, and then over here it's cylinder. The width is 30 centimeter, it has 25, length is 125, and the height is 30 and 40 centimeter, while the volume is 90, but for this it's 18%. So this is how basically subclasses and inheritance can work. You can see that we actually created a class totally out of a parent class tower tank, and we had a separate handling for some part of that. So basically the water level was different based on the volume calculation and execution is different, and also this shape, which is also different for each class. So there can be scenarios where you'll be using most of the property of one class, but you want some little changes of the other class. So for that purpose, inheritance is what you need, and you'll be using inheritance in future with any kind of development that you'll be doing. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe.